So that's not the only insane thing that's going on in America today. There's a lot of insanity going on in America. You now as a parent can lose visitation rights. You can lose visitation rights if you are not vaccinated. At least this one judge did exactly that. Judge James Shapiro, actually, I don't know if you guys saw the story, but it's going around. And at first, I didn't really know what to think. I thought there has to be something more to it, but there's not. Judge James Shapiro removed Rebecca Furlitt's visitation rights with her 11-year-old son after learning that she had not yet received the vaccine. So I thought, wait a second, there's got to be more to this. There just has to be. We cannot be at this stage in America where we are literally removing parental visitation rights or taking kids away from parents if they're not vaccinated. Surely there has to be more to the story. I have dug through this entire thing, and I cannot find anything else to this story. The judge just straight up took away this mother's visitation rights. She's already divorced. So a little bit of the backstory. She's already divorced. Obviously, her and her ex-husband are not on good terms, because how any monster of a husband could be okay with this. He must have fought her on it. Him and his lawyers must have said, hey, you know what? I bet we can get this judge to revoke visitation rights based on the fact that she's not vaccinated. And he went along with it because he's just a freaking asshole of an ex-husband, I guess. And they got the job done. There's not much more to the story. I read the article. We'll take a look at the article right now. But the article very clearly says, the mother said out of the blue, Cook County Judge James Shapiro asked her whether she had been vaccinated. Furlitt told Shapiro she had not because she had bad reactions to vaccines in the past. So this mother of an 11-year-old boy, she decides not to get vaccinated because she's had adverse reactions to vaccines in the past. Shapiro then ordered that Furlitt be stripped of all parenting time with her son until she gets vaccinated. What country is this? That this is now acceptable. That we now actually take children away from parents. And listen, I don't care what side of the fence you sit on. I don't care if you're vaccinated, if you're not vaccinated. I don't really care. I'm sick to death of the conversation, to be honest. What concerns me is the level of tyranny that we're at here in the United States. The fact that we are now removing children from households because adults, grown adults, have decided, based on their own research, the direction that they want to move medically. That's not good enough for communist America anymore. The government is going to now make the decision for you. And that's exactly what they're doing. Indirectly, no, nobody's running around sticking a needle in your arm. I get that. But indirectly, this is what they're doing with the vaccine passports. With schools now. With rushing a Pfizer approval. And everybody who is scared to death of this thing, or maybe not scared. Maybe they're not scared. Maybe they just want to be able to choose. Maybe they're standing up for freedom of choice. Their rights are going to be stripped away, whether they all like it or not, if they don't fall in line with big pharma, big government, and the pressure from the teachers' unions. And it's already started right here in my hometown. They are now having tryouts, one set of tryouts for sports for vaccinated and another set of tryouts for unvaccinated, because they claim some of the kids were exposed to COVID just miraculously out of the blue. Oh, we have reason to believe the unvaccinated were exposed to COVID, so now you have to try out in your own group of segregated unvaccinated, while the vaccinated get to try out in another group. And you better believe that the school districts and the unions are going to put pressure on these coaches and say, hey, by the way, cut all the unvaccinated kids from the team. Let's really stick it to them and prove a lesson or show them who's boss. This isn't America. This isn't a free country anymore. And this is why we do need to keep standing up for our rights. Otherwise, you're going to have judges like this rogue Cook County Judge James Shapiro removing visitation rights. And that's exactly what happened. Over the past 2 weeks, Furlet has been unable to talk to her son on the phone and through video calls. No, she's been able to talk to her son only via phone calls and video calls, but has not seen him in person. So now Furlet will be appealing the order, arguing that the judge has no grounds whatsoever to take her visitation rights. Her attorney said the decision exceeds the judge's jurisdiction. You freaking think? Are you kidding me? We need an attorney to actually say, hold on a second. This is completely overreach. And this judge has no jurisdiction whatsoever to remove a single parent from visiting her son based solely on the fact that this mother was unvaccinated. And you actually need to tell me a judge needs to come in and verify that? I don't have to be a freaking lawyer, people. But I know for a fact that no judge can do that. That is illegal, unethical, and completely immoral. But we have a bunch of crazy people now running this country. We have a very, very sick group of people who cannot get on with their lives. They are unable, they are paralyzed with fear because of what CNN did to them. They have divided this country. They have ripped the country apart. We're now going up against each other because half the country is too sick in the head to be able to calm down, conduct their own research, and get on with their freaking lives. But this is the world we now live in. I often tell people, I almost wish we just draw the crazies out, have our adult playground fight, beat the crap out of each other, and freaking move on. Because sometimes that's what it takes. A good old-fashioned playground fight. Let's just get it done and move on. Because I'll tell you right now, half the lawyers, half the judges, half the cops in this town need to get slapped around right now. They could use a good old-fashioned ass-kicking because of the way that they're all acting. And this is happening all throughout America right now, in town after town after town. It's absolutely disgusting. Which is why, America, we need to keep fighting. We need to put our foot down. We need to stand our ground and do what we know is right for this country. Otherwise, we're just going to end up being another Australia. Look what happened in Australia recently. They got their guns taken away a few years ago. They've been rendered defenseless. Riots every other week. They're getting destroyed. We saw what happened in Hong Kong pre-COVID. They were the first ones to go. As soon as the world saw how quickly you can silence protesters in Hong Kong, 1 million strong, they thought, we got them. We're going to bury these people. This is the power and the control that we've allowed our governments to possess right now because of our inability to fight back. We saw it in Hong Kong. We see it now in Australia. You better believe it's coming to Canada in the next 5 seconds. And America is next.